welcome to another interesting edition of our AgriScholars Webinar Series. On behalf of the AgriScholars Mentoring Hub and the AgriScholars Global Network, I'm truly delighted to have you here. I am Omobolanle Kalinikoshi, the founder of the AgriScholars Mentoring Hub. And today I'll be hosting this session together with Abigail Abisola, who would be introducing herself later on in the session. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, AgriScholar is a growing community committed to supporting agricultural students and young professionals with the right guidance, resources, and network to access global academic and career opportunities. Through mentorship, training, and strategic conversations like this, we aim to equip students and professionals in achieving academic and career excellence. But before we proceed, we'd like to know if would like to know those that are joining us for this particular session. So if you are there, kindly drop your name and the country to which you are joining us, and we would like to welcome you on board. I know it's going to take a time, so while I'm going to give you that time to do that, I'll just continue with the introduction for the session today. I know what we are about to discuss is not it's not something new anymore, but then it's just so funny how most of us still don't participate, or how do I put it now? So it's still funny how most of us treat the issue of visibility, despite the fact that it plays a major role in our career journey. So today we'll be focusing on building strategic and building visibility and strategic network in the agricultural space. I know most of us, we have the knowledge, we have the skills, but then the truth is, if people cannot connect with us, they don't know what we do, it would be difficult for us to have access to some certain opportunities. I'm sure we know we are in a world that is governed with connection. So how you show up and who you actually connect with can open doors for you beyond your qualifications. So this is why this session is actually designed to help you understand how to show up intentionally, how to build up meaningful connection, and how to position yourself for opportunities either in academia or industry or in global spaces. So wherever you are joining us from this evening, I want to encourage you to stay fully present, avoid distractions as much as possible, take notes where necessary, engage in the chat. This is the key part we are trying to talk about. So your strategic networking can actually start from the chat session. Hope you know. And most importantly, try to stay true to the end. So I'm sure you don't want to miss any key insights or practical takeaways that we have lined up for you this evening. But then I just want to see if I have people joining us already so we can introduce them. Okay, I'm not seeing anyone yet, but then I want to believe there are people that are still going to stay tuned. They are going to tune in later on into the session. So, but now I'll hand over to Abigail because of our time to introduce herself as well as the speaker.
Good evening, Mark. Thank you so much, Mark. Good evening, everyone. I'm Abigail Bisola Omidoyin, and I'm a student of Ekiti State University. I'm a final year student of agricultural education, and I'm also a proud member of AgriScholar Mentoring Hub. So thank you for having me. And I'm honored today to be your co-host. So in today's session, we have a very important guest in our midst, a very special guest, and she's fully prepared to share a lot of her experiences with us. So I encourage every one of us to stay engaged. I just really want to know if we are actively participating. Let us drop our best emoji in the chat. So Mrs. Latifa Lawal, she's an agribusiness specialist and head of mechanization NISA. She's a seasoned professional with over 17 years of experience spanning banking, operations, project management, and agribusiness. She attained BSc Chemistry at the University of Lagos, Diploma in Agribusiness School, Postgraduate Diploma in Sustainable Livestock and Food Safety for the University of Copenhagen, Masters in Agribusiness Management at Rome Business School and an MBA at Ahmadu Bello University. As the head of mechanization of NISA, she leverages her deep expertise to provide strategic and advisory services across the agricultural value chain. Beyond her corporate leadership, she's dedicated advocate for youth and women's empowerment. She serves as trustee for the Child Aid and Sponsorship Awareness Foundation and sits on the advisory board of I Train African. Driven by passion for nutrition, she recently founded the One Cup of Milk a Day a Day initiative focusing on improving child health and dairy consumption for children across Nigeria. So join me everyone to welcome on board Mrs. Latifa Lawal. Mrs. Latifa Lawal, can you please say hi to our audience?
Hello, everyone, to all our participants joining us from far and wide, and even from here in Nigeria. You're all welcome to this webinar. I want to guarantee you that the next 1 hour to 1 hour, 30 minutes will be very impactful. So just do me a favor, pay attention, and you will be glad you did. Thank you very much for the warm introduction.
Yeah, thank you so much, Miss Latifa. We are delighted to have you on our platform this evening. And just to begin our conversation, would love to learn more from your personal experience. If you don't mind, like, can you share with us at what point in your career journey did you realize the need to intentionally build your visibility and connections, and what actually triggered that shift?
Okay, thank you very much. To be precise, it was exactly 4 years ago. I got to a point in my career where I felt stuck. I was doing the work. I was doing everything right. I was very hardworking. In my team, I was always the most hardworking person, right? But then the growth and even sometimes the recognition was not coming at the pace that I expected. You know, you work, you put in the work, and you expect that, oh, you either get a promotion or you get a commendation. Nothing of that sort was coming, right? And
Yeah.
it became very frustrating when I found myself comparing myself to other people. I was comparing my progress to my peers, and I felt really frustrated. But at some point, I had to be honest with myself, right? I realized that I didn't want my career to be solely defined by the four walls of my office. And that's just the plain truth. I just kept telling myself that there has to be more. There has to be more. There has to be more. This cannot be all of me because I was getting frustrated by things beyond my control. So I decided to take my career growth into my hands. And for me, that was the shift. I
Hmm.
stopped waiting to be noticed. I completely stopped waiting to be noticed. And then I started positioning myself. Coincidentally, at that point where I was feeling frustrated, a friend of mine was always posting about LinkedIn on Instagram. And mind you, I had been on LinkedIn for 10 whole years since 2012. So this was in 2022. I had been on LinkedIn for 10 whole years as a spectator, as a figurehead, as a placeholder, just there, doing nothing. In fact, being afraid of the platform. But because my friend had been posting for a while, I was like, okay, let me even see what this LinkedIn is about. So I reached out to her, and then she handheld me. She taught me the ropes of LinkedIn. And so I started becoming very intentional, gradually, slowly, but intentional, right? I
Hmm.
started building connections. I started opening my voice gradually. I realized also that LinkedIn is not just for announcing promotions or announcing new jobs, because those things I wasn't getting. I felt like there's nothing else for me to do there because I'm not getting promotions and I don't have a new job, right?
Hmm.
But then I realized I could start sharing my journey. And that
Hmm.
was it for me. That decision, that singular decision 4 years ago, has opened doors beyond my imagination. Like, I
Okay.
cannot tell all the stories of opportunities I've gotten just by being visible. So that's it. I would say, for me, realization that, you know, I could not do anything about my career. I wasn't in control directly. You know, there are some places you work and you're like, okay, definitely at this point you're going to no. There are certain places you work and you just know that these things are beyond you. There's nothing you can do about it. And it's not even
Mm,
about your non-performance. It's just the system. So I
mm,
realized that I realized the need to take ownership. Nobody is responsible for your career growth but you. Nobody. I'm telling
Mm.
you, nobody. No
yeah.
mentor, no CEO, no supervisor. You are the CEO of your own career growth. I realized that. And then finally, I just became intentional. So my
Wow.
frustration led me to visibility. Let me put it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, what an interesting story, by the way. I know when you have hunger, when there is a quest for more, that is when growth comes around. So I'm
Yeah.
sure so many people can relate with this story personally, that you just want to go beyond your comfort zone. You want to see how things are on the other side of life. So I think, yeah, this is something that could be useful, so for someone that don't wait till you get frustrated anyway. Before you know, you see the need to actually build your visibility. And I'm sure we are going to get there in our discussion. Okay, to my next question. When we look at the fast evolving space of agriculture, why do you think it's visibility is something important for students and young professionals who actually desire to excel in the space? Like, why do you think this is something they have to do?
Okay, so first of all, I'll say we're in 2026. Agriculture is no longer just about farming or about theory, right? It's about ecosystems, it's about policy, it's about finance, it's about innovation, it's about technology. There's a whole ecosystem that speaks to agriculture today, right? And if you are not visible, if you cannot find yourself within one part of that entire ecosystem, then that means you're not part of the conversation. So it's very important. Visibility. I'll give a story, right?
Yeah.
I think sometime late last year, I attended the an event, right? And so I met the DG of an agriculture related organization. We were both in the same breakout session group. And then, you know, we started discussing the topic. We had differing opinions. We both eventually understood ourselves. But one thing I made sure I did with that event was that I made sure he understood my capacity. And so this year, he posted something about a policy dialogue that was to take place sometime this year. And that dialogue was supposed to be for 50 people, right? Unfortunately, I didn't see it early, so I reposted it and said, "Oh, if you can join online, you know, register and join." And then all of a sudden, I got a DM from this head of agricultural organization who reached out to me and asked me if I could moderate the online. What am I trying to say, really? I'm trying to say when you are visible in the agriculture space, it helps you build credibility, right? It helps you attract opportunities instead of constantly chasing them, and it places you in the right conversation and decision making places. So you have to be visible. It's not negotiable. You really have to be out there.
Yeah, so thank you so
Yeah.
much for that. I think that's another story like that's can actually pinpoint the fact that it's something that it's a necessary thing that for students and young professionals to start working around the aspect of their visibility, no matter where you are. It's not until you get to that top position. You can start small, start where you are, and let your like your voice be heard, and we can also see that, oh, this is what you are doing. Okay, thank you very much for that insightful response. And that takes me to my next questions, which says like given your experience, how does strategic networking open doors to valuable opportunities? I know you were making reference to one right now, so maybe in a scenario of partnership, mentorship, funding, and even scholarship opportunities, and in terms of overall career advancement in agriculture.
Okay, so because I'm speaking to early professionals and students, I want to tell a story, right? So in 2009, I had just finished service. and I was looking for a job. I was actually working at MTN call center as a contract staff, so it wasn't a stable job. Of course I wanted more. Anyways, and I was actively searching. Mind you, remember I just finished passing out from NYSC, and so I attended the party, and that party happened to be held at the of one of the top banks. In fact, the MD of GT Bank actually. And so I was just there by myself. I didn't know anybody at the party, but I knew I needed to engage. It's just that people were really busy up and about. And so the MD walks in. I had never met him at the time. And then when he walks in, all the young people ran to him. Oh, Uncle T, greeted him and all of that. I was just there sitting down by myself. The person that invited me had to attend to other people, so I didn't mind. I was just there. So when the young people left the MD, I just walked up to him. In my mind, I was like, I'm going to network. And I was so young. I didn't even know anything about networking in its true form. I didn't know anything about that. I just said, let me just speak to this person and perhaps even learn one or two things. I had no plan of working in GT Bank because GT Bank people had come to my camp, my orientation camp, and they were hunting for graduates with first class and 2-1, and I finished with a 2-2. So in my mind, I was never going to work in GT Bank, right? But I proceeded and I started speaking to him. I just said, "Good evening, sir. My name is Latifa. I just finished serving. I work at so and so." And I just started asking him questions. What's it like to be the MD of a bank? How is it this? This? Where do you see yourself in 10 years' time? This, and this, and this. So after engaging him, I was just networking. After engaging him, he now goes, "Have you tried to apply to work in GT Bank?" I said, "No, because your people came to my camp and they were looking for this and this, but I have 2-2, right?" And I was like, "No, we actually take 2-2. Here's my card. Send me your CV and HR will give you a call." That evening, I sent my CV to him. And then by Monday, they had called me for a test. By Friday, I went for the test. And about 2 or 3 weeks after, I was the full staff of GT Bank. What am I trying to say in all of this? You have to be bold. A lot of people are scared of networking, but you have to know who you are going to meet. You have to not be afraid.
Mm.
Just tell yourself that, okay, I'm at this event and I need to network with people, because you just never know the kind of doors that can be opened. You just never know the kind of opportunities that can be open. So how I see that moment particularly shaped how I see networking, right? I would say opportunities would sit behind your fear. If you are hesitant to start, you have lost an opportunity that you might never know of, right?
Mm.
And you need to, just like you said, you need to go outside your comfort zone. You are not going to get opportunities in your comfort zone. It has to be outside your comfort, and it's not that difficult. That's it. It's not that difficult. Remember that the right connection at the right time can completely, just like in my case, shift your entire trajectory. I would never have been a banker. And that one experience is what set the foundation for the amazing professional, if I do say so myself, that I am today. That one, that one decision I took to stand up as a young 20, I was 23 at the time, as a young 23-year-old lady, stand up and walk up to an MD that I didn't even know from anywhere. So this is just one of the stories I thought I should share, just so that you can see yourself in me and know that you're not too young, you're not too small. They will listen to you. In fact, a lot of people in high places respect people that are bold and that can come and speak to them. They will give you that listening ear, and you just never know. Okay, so that's what I thought I should share.
Thank you so much. That was a super encouraging story, just to see how just that one bold step to meet the MD could actually transform your career journey. Thank you so much, Ma. I just want to follow up on that specific story that you shared. And in the sense that when we talk about networking, at times it's something ambiguous or something too bold for some people to do. Like, we want to make it very practical for some people out there. Like, you find yourself in a room with top professionals, let me put it like that, or industry experts. How do you walk up to them? What do you say? What kind of conversation can you initiate with them that would spark their interest or make them give you their time and attention? I think just to make it more practical,
Yeah. Okay, so I would start with this notion that a lot of people, when you hear networking, at the back of your mind, they're like, what can I get from speaking to this person? Oh, maybe if I speak to this person, I will have this opportunity. Remember, I went to speak to that man without even thinking of getting anything. I was just networking. So the very first thing I'll say is approach people not with the mind of what can you get from that. Okay. If not, it's going to feel it's going to be feel very transactional. A better approach would be to try and build the relationship over time. So there are some tips I even recently learned, right? Thing is, when you attend an event, um, don't tell yourself that, oh, I'm going to network with 10 people. One or two people is enough. If not, you're going to be overwhelmed, right? So one or two people, first and foremost. Tell yourself, I'm going to meet one or two people. I'm going to speak to them, and they were going to build something from them. And surprisingly, you don't even have to discuss serious stuff with the people you're networking with for the first time. All you need to do is that you need to be genuinely interested. And when you're genuinely interested, people will know, like, oh wow, oh, what do something like, you have to appear like you're genuinely interested in getting to know them, or getting to know about them, or getting to know what they do. Okay, like I said, you don't have to focus on the serious stuff. You can focus on small talk. Oh, where do you work? Where do you stay? How was the journey to the venue? Right? Even as little as, oh, your dress is nice. My name is Latifa. I work at Nursal as this and this. Where do you work? From there, okay, I'd like to connect with you on LinkedIn. Okay, it doesn't have to be serious. So a lot of people see networking and like, oh, and truly there's that fear of, oh, what if this person does not answer me the way I want? Then you move on. It's really not that serious. If they don't, you move to the next person, because you just never know. You really, really just never know. I'll tell you another story again. So 3 years ago, I attended a workshop, right? And at that workshop, there were these Danish guys that came to make a presentation. And after that presentation, I gained so much value. I was like, you know what? I'm going to tell these people how wonderful they were, with the presentation. I learned a lot. My book was full because I learned a lot. And I really needed them to know that, man, you guys really impacted me. And so I walked up to them. I said, wow, I learned a lot from this workshop, and as much as I've learned, I'm still open to learning more. And they were like, okay, no, take our card, send us an email. That day I sent an email, long and short, about 2 months after I was in Denmark on a fully funded scholarship, just from that one step. So one thing I want to say, don't let it feel transactional. Be genuinely interested. And it doesn't have to be serious talk. You can start with small talk, just small talk. Oh, the weather today, the journey getting here. Very, very, and then also ask follow-up questions. Oh, why do you say so? Oh, you mentioned this. What is it? It doesn't have to be that serious. And then from there, once you now connect as professionals, the expectation on LinkedIn after such networking events, connect on LinkedIn, see, identify areas of mutual alignment, and see how you can collaborate. You just never know. Okay. Yeah, so that's what I'll say.
Hmm. Yeah, thank you so much. I love the way you made it very simple, and that's just the best way to go about. It's just as simple as like, how was your day? Like
Yes,
you talking to friend, like trying to
exactly.
get familiar with someone you don't know. So because even personally for me, it took me time to learn the approach for networking, or just to
Yeah,
meet people. And another thing I would like to add is that networking does not end at the
of
venue or
course,
wherever you
of
meet the
course,
person.
of course.
There should be a follow-up
Exactly,
conversation.
exactly.
And this is where you get to build the relationship. This is where you nurture the relationship into a long-term thing. So this is another thing I would just like to add it from my own point. Okay, thank you so much. Let me just go into my next question for you, which is more into the visibility aspect of our topic. So for young professionals, researchers, and entrepreneurs who are just starting out, what are the practical strategies you will recommend in building their visibility, especially within the agricultural industry?
Okay, so what I would say, let me also use my story as well, right? When I started in 2022, I was not consistent. As a beginner, just starting to be visible or starting to position yourself, it's not that easy. And in fact, you can feel overwhelmed. One thing I would say, first of all, do not put pressure on yourself. That you are seeing other people show up every day does not mean that's the formula that will work for you. I personally have never been a fan of showing up every day because it's just a lot, especially when you are a 9 to 5er, you have a regular job, because LinkedIn in itself is like a job. You have to give it a lot of attention. That's the truth. It's a communal I'm talking LinkedIn because we're all professionals, and that's the one platform that we can build ourselves as professionals. Very communal platform. So you need to give it time, but you don't have to overburden yourself. So I would say consistency. It sounds like a buzzword, but it's not a buzzword. It's actually very simple. And you can define your consistency. So one, consistency, you have to be consistent. And consistency does not mean every day. You just need to find out a formula that works for you and you stick to that formula. So for me, when I started, like I said, I was really lazy. In fact, I must say, I used to post once in 3 weeks, but I never missed that once in 3 weeks. It's very poor. Yes, I know. I used to post once in 3 weeks for about 6 months, and then I increased it to once in 2 weeks. Then I increased it to once a week. And then right now, I'm on 3 times a week. No pressure. No pressure. As a matter of fact, when I started positioning myself with my once in 3 weeks, I had started receiving, not even receiving, I started attracting opportunities because I was constant. The thing is, you also don't want to be forgotten. You want people to see your name and say, oh, Latifa, this person is in agriculture. You don't even need to know my surname. Once you see Latifa A something, you know that this person is in the agriculture sector or in agribusiness. And it is consistency that can help you attain that kind of speed, if I may put it that way. Okay. So I would say your consistency, it cannot be emphasized enough. Yes, I know a lot of people say it a lot, but it can be emphasized a lot. And it does not have to be every day. Just find a formula that works for you, stick to it, have a system that helps you stay present, have a system that helps you stay visible. Okay. And it's just telling your stories, just the way I've been sharing my stories. Everything I've said here so far, I've said it on my LinkedIn. Share your stories. People want to see themselves in you. People want to believe that because you have walked that path and you have succeeded, they can also walk that path and succeed. It's that simple. It can even be as easy as sharing your day to day, your behind the scene, how you did this, how you learned a lesson, how you know, very easy. And so one other thing that I would say would help you achieve this is to, even if you are not um even if you're not very consistent right now, always make sure that you are documenting, you are taking pictures, you are jotting notes, you are writing your experiences. Because when you finally decide to be visible, those things that you have documented would help you. So very, very importantly, yes. And as well, just like I said, LinkedIn, we're all professionals. LinkedIn is a very communal platform. You cannot expect to just be taking and taking and taking. You must also give. So the way people support you is how you support them. It's that simple. Okay, so that's what I'll say.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for the response to that question. So, if I can recall properly, so she mentioned 2 points: consistency and your story. So, documenting your journey, your story, it doesn't have to be something very ambiguous. I know when we say show up, people used to think like, okay, you need to have a big feat. Maybe you just
Yeah, no.
you waited till you finish your undergraduates just to come and
Yeah,
announce to us that I just, whereas so many people have started building even in their undergrads. And I think this is one thing that we students we need to take away from this, that no matter what position or where you are, just your story and just be consistent. Once in
yeah,
a day, once in a week, once in a month, there is no pressure like she mentioned. So okay, maybe to my next question. I know we are talking about people to show up, build their visibility, and to some extent, I think students or people are also trying to do this. But when we look at the trend, going on in most of the social media platforms, especially like LinkedIn. And maybe I'll ask a question on that later on. But for this particular one, I know many people struggle with low visibility despite the fact that they're online, they are posting consistently, they are using good visuals, they are telling, they are doing everything they know how to do. um how best can you encourage them in this situation, and how can they even reposition themselves for better impact and recognition?
Okay, so just like you said, a lot of people are active. You see people around LinkedIn, just talking, just talking, right? Trying, thinking in their mind they're active. But one thing I've learned about such people is that yes, you're active, but you're not actively positioned. Let me put it that way. Yeah. So they post a lot, but there's no clarity in the message, right? So one thing I've discovered in my 4 years of being active on LinkedIn is that the whole essence of your being visible on LinkedIn is that you are positioned in such a way that people know you for something, not many things. Maybe not one thing, maybe one or two things or three things max. I'm not really you must niche down to one thing. Yes, I know a lot of people are not from that school of thought. It mustn't be one exact thing, but you must find a way. If it's going to be one or two or three things, you must find a way to tie all of them. So back to what I was saying. Yes, they post, but there's no clarity around what they want to be known for. Do you want to be known as a poultry specialist, for example? Do you want to be known as an agronomist? Do you want to be known as this? It is in your telling, it is in telling you, and everything your must be captured around that thing that you want to be known for. You understand? So another thing is, for beginners, you jump on the platform, and the, let's call it vanity metrics, like they say, are not encouraging. Nobody is liking, or maybe one or two people will like your post. No comments. It can be discouraging, to be honest. But the truth of the matter is, you cannot afford to be discouraged on a platform like LinkedIn. So first and foremost, ensure that you have clarity. Clarity. What do you want to be known for? What do you want people to know you for? What do you want it to be like when people see your mobile landly, they know that this person is into this and this, or does this and this. That's your very, very first step. Your second step, because I always try to encourage people not to be discouraged. Don't focus on the numbers at the beginning. At the end, the numbers may be important, but at the beginning, it's really not important. What is important is your consistent messaging. Your consistent messaging. Okay, find a formula, just like I said, and stick to that formula, and be consistent in your tone, in your messaging. Don't talk about A today and tomorrow you're talking about Z. No. Okay, so the problem a lot of people have is the lack of clarity and perhaps a defined niche. That's very important. And then inconsistency and prioritizing vanity metrics instead of giving value. Because at the end of the day, once you give value, value will always find a way to back to you. Only that's simple. Give value and it will return to
Yeah, thank you so much, Ms. Latifa, for that. And I believe this is going to encourage, because I get that question a lot. Even for me personally, it's not like we all started from zero, literally,
you.
right? And
Yeah,
even up till now, the algorithm is a machine system that does all this work, and you cannot that
yeah,
affect your emotions. Don't take it
yeah.
too serious. Just
No,
show
no,
up,
no, don't take it too
show up
serious.
with your value and just keep going. So that's the
Yeah,
most important thing. And the funniest thing is that people are watching. They might not like, they might not comment, they might not engage,
yeah,
but then
yes.
they know that you are doing this thing, and when it's time for to mention you in a particular room or space or
Mm-hmm.
connect you to it,
They
your name
know.
will click into their head that this person is the best fit for the opportunity. So, but if you don't show up, you think because of the numbers, the likes, and everything, then you are
Yeah.
doing yourself more harm than
Yeah.
good.
And just to add to what you said, my biggest speaking opportunity was given to me by a lady who had never engaged with any of my posts. She had never engaged with any of my posts. But when it was time to recommend somebody for that speaking, and it was a paid engagement, like biggest, when it was time to recommend somebody, she remembered me because she said to me that she had been seeing me on LinkedIn talk about agriculture, right? And so that particular panel was on agriculture, and I was the first person that came to her mind. And I was the only female in the midst of professors, CEOs, and MDs. I was the only female, but she remembered me because I was consistent in my messaging, and she had never engaged. So please don't be dismayed about the fact that, oh, the metrics is low. It will pick up with your consistency. I can guarantee you, as long as your messaging is not confusing, there's clarity, and as long as you are giving value, it will always come back to you.
So yeah, that's just the most important thing to take note of. Maybe before I go further into our questions, if you are still with us and you are getting values, I just want to see your reaction in the comment section. And you can also drop a short quote of maybe something you've learned so far from this session. I know Victoria was trying to tell us that opportunity can be found in your most unexpected places. Yeah, definitely. Where you least expect, opportunities can actually locate you. And Dorcas was saying that don't focus on the numbers, and at the beginning, I guess that's what she's trying to say. So please let us know if you are following, so it's not like we are talking to ourselves. Drop your points and every other thing that you are doing, and like you are able to gain from this session, and we can know that you are with us. I see in here, yeah, consistency. Find a formula that works. Share my story, and I should have clarity. Exactly. So when you are clear on what you want to do, and you are able to articulate it into your story, definitely you can speak and lend your voice to people around you. Yeah, thank you so much for that. And I'm sure you guys are learning a lot from this session. So we'll just continue from where we stopped. Okay, maybe to my next question now. It's about I think we've been talking too much a lot on LinkedIn as a platform to build visibility and connection. But what other spaces, what other platform can we actually build our visibility as agri students or professionals? Yeah.
Okay, so I'm very big on LinkedIn, as you know, as a professional. That's my primary platform, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my go-to. So I'm speaking from my experience, right? The only other platform I would say, and this is from maybe a little of my experience and other people's experience, would be Twitter and TikTok. I'm on Twitter, but actually not active. I read a post yesterday about someone who's really active on LinkedIn who recently said she had started building and she was already building momentum from Twitter. So I would say Twitter. You might want to consider Twitter. And then TikTok, because we're in the generation where content is king. Content is king. Oh, you want to keep people engaged with what you have to say. TikTok is for me, is a very low hanging fruit. As long as you have that value and you're able to communicate it in the format that TikTok would now accept and even push out um your content. I'm sure a lot of these people would agree with me. Beyond LinkedIn, it will be TikTok and then maybe Twitter, I would say.
All
Yeah,
right. So, yeah, so not to restrict us to a particular platform. This is just to
I
let you know
agree.
that you can explore as much as many opportunities, but from experience, like LinkedIn is a more suitable professional platform if you are
Yeah.
building your visibility as an early career professional or student, or let me put it like that. So we have for me, I'm not active on Twitter or I don't even have a TikTok account. That's just the funniest thing. So you don't want to spread yourself too thin, right? And at the same
Yeah.
time, you don't want to restrict yourself to a particular space. So in as much as possible, you can explore many opportunities and find what works for you in terms of building your visibility. Okay. Maybe to my next question. We've been talking about it anyway. It's about personal branding. And I know there's a lot of misconception about personal branding and the whole thing that comes with it. From your own experience, like how would you encourage people to build their personal brand? Now you don't have a product, you don't have a commodity you are selling, you are not Coke, you are not Fanta. So when it comes to personal branding, visibility, building strategic connection, what are those specific things that young professionals can actually look out for, like to be able to stand out and connect with the right people? Because of course you don't just want to be there, you are making content, you are adding value, but then it's also important, it's a two-way thing, right? So how can you connect with the right person that can also add value to you?
To you. Okay. And just to add to what you said, I'm not selling anything. Oh. As you're seeing me like this, I'm not selling anything. But what I would say I'm doing is that I'm dishing out values. And like I said, value will always come back to you as long as you're giving it. So first of all, what is personal branding? Personal branding is how you carry yourself, how you position yourself in the minds of others. Remember what I said earlier. I said you want to get to the point where people see your name. They don't even have to check your profile. They already know what you're going to talk about. That's your personal branding. Personal branding is in the tone of the way you write, your messaging tone. How do you write? What are the colors? You don't want to use red flyer today. Tomorrow you're using brown. Next tomorrow green. You're even confusing us. We that we are watching you or we're trying to gain value from you. So personal branding, first of all, is essentially how you position yourself in the minds of others. And once again, we have to always circle back to LinkedIn because LinkedIn is a multi-dimensional platform that gives you so many benefits. And one benefit that LinkedIn helps you to achieve is personal branding. And this has nothing to do with a well-written profile. No, a lot of people package profiles. It's beyond that. It's about how you consistently and clearly, remember we spoke about clarity, how you consistently and clearly communicate what you do, what you stand for, and the value you bring. The center point of everything you do in your personal branding, your positioning, your visibility is value. Value is your driving force. Okay. So, like I said, in how clearly and how consistently you communicate what you do. Personal branding also is about how people perceive you even when you're not in the room. And it is based on what you have consistently demonstrated by sharing your experiences, by sharing your stories, by sharing your knowledge, by sharing your lessons. People are able to perceive you. You want people, it's like my father was into public relations. They'll say public relations is a lot about how people perceive you. That perception is very key, the way people perceive you. And it all boils down to the way you carry yourself, the way you present yourself, the way you position yourself in the minds of others. Very, very important. And I've seen this play out in my journey. I was not trying to be many things at the same time. I'm a particular person. And in fact, I've niched down personal branding to the way I look. I'm constant, maybe at least 95% of the time, I'm constantly wearing this type of scarf because I want to be remembered. It's like Ngozi Okonjo, exactly. When you see her, she has a specific look. That's part of her personal branding. So you must find something. It can be your color, it can be the way you carry yourself, it can be the little things like this one. Like, in fact, there's an MD of an organization in Abuja here. He saw my headgear. I'd never met him before, but I was like, I know you from LinkedIn, from this scarf. That's when I knew that this scarf has gone far. So, so what am I trying to say? The way you position yourself in the minds of others. It's like carrying yourself with courage. When they see your name, they will know who you are. And it's because of your personal branding. Okay. Yeah. So that's the thing. So
Yeah, so
clarity, consistency, value. Once again. Yeah.
yeah, thank you so much. I think I really enjoyed the way you break it down, because when we talk about personal branding, people think you have a product you're selling, you are trying to sell
No.
a service or something like that. But then
Mm-mm.
it's just like your personality, trying to let us know who you are and what you stand for essentially. And that reflects in the tone of the message you put out there. It reflects in your appearance, it reflects in your color, so many things. So just to consistently build an image of you in the mind of others. I really love that point,
Yeah.
and that was why I had to type it out and put it out. So thank you so much. So once
Yeah.
again, clarity, consistency, and value. That is the strategy to be able to connect
Yes.
with the right people. Okay, maybe let me now put this for those specifically in the agri field, like women, early career professionals, and students. How can they strategically position themselves to gain visibility and influence? Like, now you are not selling anything, but you want to build partnerships with agri stakeholders like farmers, investors, NGOs, government bodies, like in making meaningful contribution to the agricultural sector. There is a lot of issues that we need to come around together as scholars to be able to solve. So many vital, the issue of food insecurity is there, so many things. So now, how can you position yourself as an innovative person, as a thought leader, whereby you can partner with these people and contribute in solving so many problems that we have around the agricultural sector?
Okay, so from my experience, once again, one thing I've learned is that you cannot, especially as a woman, you cannot wait to be invited into spaces that you should be into. The invitation might not always come, but so that means you must always be on the lookout for them and find a way to get into those rooms. That's the first thing I'll say. You have to position yourself for that. The second thing I'll say would be to identify role models or people you can look up to in the agriculture space. I, for one, have identified so many people. I've established contact with them. If I know that they're going for an event, I'll try to go for that event, introduce myself to them, tell them that I've been connected with them for some time. I've learned a lot from them and all of that. Strategically position myself so that in the event that there's an opportunity. Let me even give you a story. Same on LinkedIn. For me, LinkedIn is the central focal point to the success by God's grace that I've been able to achieve so far. By God's grace, will continue to grow, right? There was a lady on LinkedIn, she posted, she's a madam in the agriculture sector, like a top woman that I don't think I would ever have been able to reach out to this woman. Anyway, she posted something on LinkedIn. It was supposed to be a carousel. But you know, when you download as maybe a JPEG and it's a carousel, everything will just be scattered. So I reached out to her. I was like, "Good afternoon, ma. Your message was very great, blah, 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 blah. But I think you were trying to post it as a carousel. This is what you should do." You see, that one singular thing I did for this woman, that one singular thing, the way she appreciated it. She appreciated me so much that she invited me for one event that she organized. And that event, the farm secretary of a particular ministry related to agriculture was at that event. She took me by my hand, took me to that woman, introduced me to that woman, and told the woman about my NGO. And that opened several other doors. So you have to find your, what am I trying to say? This woman, I had never engaged with her, but I found my way to strategically place myself in front of her and give her value that was small to me, but was very huge to her. And like I said, once you give value, once you're intentional about giving value, it would always come back to you. It will always come back to you. So that's just a story I wanted to give. But generally speaking, as a woman, you want to own your voice. Don't try to sound like other people. Oh. You are one you. You are one Omobolade. I am one Latifa. There's nobody that can be me. If I try to copy Omobolade, you will know because I'm not her. It will not even, it won't gel. Own your voice and do not be afraid to amplify your voice. Remember, you are the CEO of your career. Nobody is going to project your career for you. The doors will not always open sometimes, except you position yourself intentionally in front of those doors. So maybe when it opens a bit, you can just enter. You just never know, but you must be deliberate. You must be deliberate. So own your voice, amplify your voice, show your work and demonstrate. We don't want cho cho cho. We don't want just talk and no action. That's why me. Stories that even sound good to be true. I used to put proof. So you don't think I'm giving you bobo. I'm not giving you bobo. It's real. It is real. So not cho cho cho, demonstrate. The key word here is demonstrate. You must be able to demonstrate your value. Okay, you must be able to. Then lastly, I'll say engage intentionally. Don't be afraid. Networking is also at the center of a lot of things we do as young professionals and career people and women. Networking is very key, it's at the center. Don't be afraid to network with people. And you can start virtually online. Don't be afraid. What's the worst that will happen? They will ignore you or they will say no. Don't be afraid. If they give you a negative answer, you move to the next. But just know that you cannot grow without people. So you must be intentional about positioning yourself in front of such people that can open bigger doors for you. Okay, so that's what I would say.
To be honest, even me myself, I've really learned a lot. It was as if I've not even heard most of those things before. Thank you so much. That was well detailed. Like, you need to put yourself in the front of all these top agricultural
Yeah,
leaders. And one of the best or simple way you can do is just engage with their content. If you found something
yes,
that you can send a DM. I saw something that is interesting. Oh, do you mind we collaborate on this? Do you mind we talk about just little things? It's not as big as we often
yeah,
think.
we
I
think.
think, yeah,
Yeah.
was it not recently? I don't know. I made a post on agriculture or something like that, and before I knew it, the founder of Farming in Africa is in Ghana. He sent a DM like, "Oh, he saw my post, blah blah blah. Do I mind talking?" It's just you. For me now, I don't
Mm,
even have to go and meet him. But then there are some instances that you need to reach out to these people, or you either position yourself in such a way that they come and reach
because
out to you.
true,
So it's just
true.
a two-way thing. It's either you look out for opportunities or opportunities look out for you. So it's
Yeah.
very important. There's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to lose. The most important
Okay.
thing, the worst that can happen is you get ignored. But that doesn't mean we have thousands of people. Do you know how many people are using LinkedIn? Do
Yeah.
you know how many
Millions.
agricultural professionals that
Yeah.
we have on
You're
LinkedIn?
right.
So we have a lot of people. So don't, because of one experience that you a bad experience, and just close the door of opportunities that you have before you. So try as much as possible to be strategic, be intentional. You don't want to just connect with random people that might not add
Mm,
value to you, or you might not be able to add value to them. So you want to watch out for those you are connecting with that aligns to your value, to your purpose, and to what you do. That's a very important thing we need to take out of this session. And okay, we are coming to the end. I plan to have this in 15 minutes anyway, but let me just ask her this one more question. Please start dropping your questions in the comment section in case there is anything you want to ask Mrs. Latifa that is not clear from what we've been discussing so far. If you have any contributions, any comments, we would like to hear from your own perspective. I believe most of those joining us are also agricultural experts or students or whatever field you are. Just drop your questions in the comments and we'll be more than happy to take them as time permits us. Okay, so for the final question, looking ahead, agriculture has a lot of prospects. So what are those skills? What are those mindsets and maybe positioning strategies that young professional can adopt now to remain visible, relevant, and impactful within the agricultural field on a long term? You don't want to start something today and tomorrow we cannot even remember who is this. So how do you want to sustain that impact
right.
over a long term period and you can remain relevant in the agricultural industry?
That's true. Okay. So what I'll first of all say is that for everyone that is studying or has studied an agriculture related field, I want to let you know that you are standing on gold. Like not small gold, oh, major gold, because that's the first stepping stone to your global stage. Let me just put it that way, right? And so, beyond all of the things you have learned in the four walls of your school, remember I said your stepping stone, beyond all of that, there are certain skills that you must have. Okay. Certain skills, very important. And the first will be your communication. Thankfully, we have AI that can help structure your thoughts. I'm not saying you should now depend solely on AI because AI tone is annoying, actually. We still want to see you in your messaging. So yes, you can use AI, but in your communicating, I want to feel like it is you that is talking. Like when Omobolale writes, I know she's the one. I know that there's a certain way she writes that I know that it's only her that can sound this way. Even when AI Just like me, I use AI to put my thoughts together. But there's a way I write that me self, I dey feel myself when I write. You understand? That's because there's that human factor. So remember, beyond the things you've learned in the 4 walls of your school, your communication skill, your ability to with the same value. Yes, you can have value, but if you cannot communicate it, that's zero at the end of the day. So your communication is very important. That's one. Two, if you were like me more than 5 years ago, where I thought being online was not for me, you are wrong. Your digital presence, you cannot toy with it. You cannot toy with it. We are in the gig economy. You must strive to have a bite of that economy. You must. So you can't joke with your digital presence. Like me, I sometimes call myself a content creator because I have a mic, I have camera, I have light, I have this, I have that. Because sometimes I need to communicate the awesome value that I have. Plenty. I don't want to communicate in a shabby manner. I must communicate in the right way so that the people I'm speaking to can get that message, receive it, consume it, and do something about it. That doing something is the value that will now come back to me. Okay. So very, very important. Your communication skill, very important. Your digital presence, very, very important. Networking, we've said it before, but it cannot be overflowed. You need people. People say it too much. You need people. Myself and Omobanale, we met here on LinkedIn as well. We met on LinkedIn and engaging one another's posts, you know, supporting one another. And we've been able to collaborate. This is not our first time that we're working on something together. You need people. Networking is extremely important. Extremely important. Do not be afraid. Remember, like I said earlier, doors may not always be open for you, but if you are strategically positioned in front of certain doors, you can get in. That's the truth. You can get in. That's just the truth. So I will say it again: your communication skills, your digital presence, and your ability to engage with different stakeholders. These things, see, if I keep telling you my stories, we will not leave here today. And I know we are spent for time. So I'll save you guys. Just go to my LinkedIn. You see all my stories there. I'll save you guys the gist. But these are just the things I wanted to, because these are the things that will separate you from a commoner, a common agriculture graduate, and yourself. You want to be distinct. Trust me, there are some things that matter, and these things I've said matter. They matter a lot. They matter a lot. So please do not forget that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Miss Latifa. Thank you for the time, for the knowledge, for the insight. I think even me myself, I'll need to come back and listen to this and make sure that I actually work with some of those things. And I think one of those things that actually stand out for me personally is the fact that apart from your 9 to 5 job, you are into so many things and you are showing up and you see this as another side job, like a content creator.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
are developing your skills in those areas. I can
Of course.
imagine when you said you had lights, you
Yes.
bought a mic,
I have like,
just to make sure
yes.
that you show up professionally,
Mm-hmm.
like as a
Yeah.
how do I call it, as a professional content creator out there, because you don't want to
Yeah.
communicate shabbily to people
Mm-hmm.
out there. If you need to attend training on how to improve your communication skills, we are all work in progress anyway. So it's
Yeah.
something you can also take courses, learn how to do all these things. No one was born with it. Maybe some people will say they
Mm.
have the talent to talk anyway, but then in
You
most
can develop
instances
yourself.
you can develop it. You can, even me myself, I'm someone that shy away from camera. But with time, I felt like, okay, this is, I need to accept the reality. We're in a digital age. I need to
Yeah.
put my presence beyond research, beyond academia. How can I show up to let people know what I stand for and to also offer my value? So it's very important that when you are showing up, show up with value with everything you have. If you need to enroll in courses, improve your skills and so many things, but most importantly, just make sure that you are always improving yourself at every phase of your career. So like I said, connect with people as well, engage with other people. I know we are in a world of, how do I call it, is it I don't want to say tick for tact anyway, but then whatever you give actually comes back to you. So let me
Yeah,
put
it
it like
does.
that. So it's very important that when we talk about networking and visibility, it involves human connection. You are not networking with yourself. You are networking with someone, and you are not building, you are not showing up to be seen by yourself. It's just to be seen by others. So everything boils down to the fact that it's a word of human connection. So we don't want the link to break. So you want to show up in the right space, in the right room, and the right opportunity can actually locate you. So that's it for our session today. This is it on dots. So I think we are going to wrap it there and take few questions. I know I've seen a lot of questions in the comment section. I was just hoping to see if Abigail is available to take that, but I'm not sure I can see her now. So, but not to waste our time, I would definitely go ahead with the question and questions that we have at the moment in the comment section. Okay, I'm just coming. Okay, Victoria is asking. I think it was when we were talking about the platform for social media, and
Okay.
she's asking. I think this person anyway. What is Facebook for you, Mrs. Latifa?
Uh, honestly, I don't know. I'm not. I feel Facebook is so overwhelming for me. It's so overwhelming, like so overwhelming. So what I just use Facebook for is to archive my old, like my old pictures. Yes, yes, yes. Facebook for me is so overwhelming. I don't see this thing is not a do or die for me. Oh. LinkedIn works for me. I'm able to come up with a formula that works for me. I do it at my pace. I enjoy it. It's not a burden for me. Facebook feels like a burden, but LinkedIn, I just do it. I enjoy it. Yeah. So for me, Facebook, I would say no. It's a lot of noise over there for me. I can't even keep up. Yeah, I can't keep up with Facebook. TikTok and LinkedIn, yes. Then maybe Twitter.
Okay, no problem. So, Victoria, I hope that answers your question. I know she just wants to hear your personal view because that's also the same thing for me, even including Twitter as well. I just feel like these are a bit noisy or loud platform.
Yeah,
I
true.
myself am not able to keep up. I'm still trying to keep up with LinkedIn at the
Do you
moment.
get honestly?
So that's just the honest truth with that. Okay, I see my sister here. Thank you, Miss Inibom. Thank you for joining us. And I think she's also trying to share a point about the platform. The choice of what social space to build visibility circles back to the nature of career one is building. So, for example, if you are building a corporate career and a global brand, LinkedIn works best for you. But if it's a career that is about lifestyle, you want to show your lifestyle, maybe that would be more suitable on Instagram and TikTok. So thank you for your perspective and adding to that particular question. Ijoma, I see you said you have a question. Please, okay, I can see your question now. Okay, how do you deliver value when you have just transitioned into a new career path entirely?
Okay, this is actually a very good question. And you one thing, let me just say this on the side. One thing I like about LinkedIn is that you can, on LinkedIn you are who you say you are. That's one. And two, it's very fluid. You can just like you said, transition from one thing to the other. You really can. And so I would say by demonstrating once again, because in transitioning you aim or you hope to attract opportunities in this your new field or this your new career path. You at the end of the day, that's the bottom line. You would attract opportunities if you are doing the right thing. So the thing I would say would be to demonstrate your capacity. Yes, you're transitioning, but you will still have to talk a lot about it because you are showing people that this is what you want to be known for. This is your area of strength. And so I would even give an example. So in my career, rather in my organization, I used to be the head of dairy before I became the head of mechanization, right? And so for me, I had that imbalance. I was like, oh, I've been talking a lot about this. How will I just switch to this, right? But then I sat with myself and said, I can actually be both. Whilst I am looking for an audience for this, my new field, I also don't want to be forgotten about what I've been known for years. So that I won't even say you should completely cancel out. Me, I'm not for a one niche. That's why I say you must find a way to connect your niches together. I still found a way to maintain my dairy because I'm still an active player beyond my work environment. I'm an active player in that space. But you see, this is my new space. What I started doing, I started learning, building my capacity, because what I also meant in this my new field, I was engaging with people in the ecosystem. I don't want to look like I don't know what I'm doing. So I built my capacity a lot, started connecting with people in that space that I can learn from and I can possibly collaborate with in the near future. So build your capacity, connect with people that you can learn from, that you can collaborate with, and keep demonstrating as you are learning on the go.
Mm,
As you're
mm.
learning on the go, that's what I would say. And that's what has worked for me in my personal experience.
Okay, so that's it. Just keep learning and try to see how much of value you can deliver with your new role. Next question from Spiky Wears. It says, "Thank you, Mar. The session has been insightful. You talked about building a personal brand without selling anything. Please don't get us wrong there. How do one build a personal brand in the input supply value chain specifically?"
Hmm. Okay, so it depends. In the input supply value chain, okay, well, from your question, that means you supply inputs. Is that what you're saying? So what I would say would be, you probably, your messaging will be in line of um guiding people on the need or the importance of using the right kinds of inputs, right? Or the benefits of using certain kinds of inputs, or the dangers of using, remember at the end of the day, we said value is at the center of everything we do. So in
Yeah.
that your input supply, yes, you're talking about input. So you can be saying, oh, crop protection products or insecticides or herbicides or, inputs generally. You're not selling. See, one thing about LinkedIn is a lot of people don't like being sold to. I personally don't like it because we are all professionals. It's an indirect way of adding value to yourself. But that way is by giving value first. You must always give value first. You understand? So don't see yourself as an input supplier. See yourself as someone who is giving value in the input ecosystem. You are positioning yourself as an expert in that input ecosystem. You understand? That's just all I'll say. So, and it's input. Are you focused on all the inputs, or is it seeds? Is it feed? Is it fertilizers? Is it extension service? You have to be at least specific enough. And in being specific, you also have to demonstrate your expertise in that field. You have to take a
Yeah.
lot of pictures. You have to do a lot of demonstration or proof. Proof is another thing that sells like magic on LinkedIn. If you're able to say, oh, there's this product, my clients use this, and they were able to move from 2 metric tons to 10 metric tons, without even saying come and buy, people will knock at your door. You understand? So you have to do a lot of educating. You have to educate your audience. You have to, and you do that by demonstrating your knowledge and your expertise in that space.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's what I'll say. And then, of course, the regulars engage your potential audience, the people that would likely need you. You have to be visible to them. You cannot be visible to somebody like maybe your Omobolale who is, doing a PhD and not necessarily has the need for inputs right now. You must be in the front of the people that need that value that you're bringing to the table. And that's why, like she said, you cannot just engage and then connect with everybody just because. No, you want to make sure that you are in front of the people that need to consume that value so that that value can come back to you. Yeah.
So thank you very much. And that's a very salient point. And just to add to it, I think the first part of the question where we said you talked about building a personal brand without selling anything. Actually, it's possible. And we are not, don't get us wrong, you can even build a personal brand and be selling. And you can still build a
Course.
personal brand and be selling indirectly, not selling like putting a special
Directly. Yeah.
product out
Yeah.
there that okay, I'm selling this, like Let me just say this on behalf of Miss Lati. I know when she started showing up and everything, I think there was a time she was just like LinkedIn audits. Like if you want someone to help you look
Yeah.
through your profile and people started sending message. And
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
there, she just like, okay, if you want me to help you do these specific things as an addition to what I've done, then you have to pay for this.
Yeah.
So you can see
Okay.
that it's not you. I think it's very important that you just give value first. People would even want to come and meet you to do these things. Like I know I've come, I can't. I was in a chat with someone last week, and the person was like reaching out to me for a one-on-one session, and the person was like, "How much do you want me to pay you? Like I can't. You can't do this for free." I'm someone that, of course, I've not monetized anything on LinkedIn, but people, because of the value you are willing to offer, they want to
Yeah.
place a monetary value on what you are giving out. So it's something
Yeah.
that it comes like naturally. But when you are in the moment you are so desperate for it, that's when I think care needs to be taken, because people can sense it,
Mm.
they can see it. And for someone like me, I don't like people DM me for sales and I don't like it. I will block you off
It's
immediately. So that is just it. So you need to approach it in a very smart manner. That's
yeah.
what I will have to say about it. Okay, Victoria again is on you. She said, "You have said a lot, Miss Latifat. Have you taken a break from social media to detox? And if yes, how do you think one can get back after a break? It may be a short or long break." So, over to you,
Okay.
ma'am.
So just like I mentioned, I'm not a fan of posting every day, so I'm not overwhelmed first. Secondly, my posting schedule is 3 times a week. Sometimes when I'm super duper busy, like right now, I do twice or once a week. But the truth of the matter is, the entire year I'm very active. Okay, either once or twice or thrice a week, I will be present. Now, towards the end of the year, I usually will take a 3 week break to detox, just to relax and not do anything serious. And for me, I'm coming back. I just announced my return. The queen is back. She's back. Oh, like she never left. I'll say what I want to say, and everybody come back. Then we just move. So it's nothing serious. Not that serious. I don't need that break. In fact, I know there's this lady now, Omo Babirin. She takes like 2 months break, and she comes back like. In fact, when she goes on that break, she adds more followers. So that break is actually necessary to detox, and I don't joke with it. Whenever I need it, whenever I'm super busy, and I take it without permission. Safe, I will leave, and then when it's time.
I know we missed
Yeah,
her
but
for
you
a
don't want to
second
be.
there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. You don't want to be gone for too long too, because remember, you don't want to be forgotten in people's minds. Okay, so try not to, especially for those of us that are just building. Don't just disappear, especially when you start building. They'll say post and goes. Don't post today and then 5 months after you're coming back. No, we will forget you. You are not memorable. Your name does not ring a bell. No, you must be very consistent. I must comment one guy that I recently noticed on LinkedIn. His name is Wisdom Kalanwa, I think. This guy has been posting a lot about poetry, and he just recently started, but he's been so consistent. And I hope that it continues that way, because that's what it really takes to be to be an authority in your field, to be an authority. And just like you said, you need the detox. Your body first, yourself first, because if you are not, then you cannot even be present on LinkedIn. So you first, when you feel you need a break, take the break, but it mustn't be too long. Take it as required, and then come back and then just continue.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's just very important. So you have a way to balance it out. So when you feel there is need to take a break, just do that. But then you don't want to go for too long
Mhm.
in such a way that you get forgotten. These are people that people move on. That's just the truth.
Yeah,
Whether you are there or you are not
yeah,
there, life continues. So it's very
true.
important that you want to retain your memory in the mind of people. So if you are gone, like it's not a very too long period. So likewise me too, like if I'm not able to catch up with my normal schedule on LinkedIn, I just
You
leave
just
it there till
yeah,
I have the time.
yeah.
So it's not a do or die affair. So I think that's something you need to just put into your mind. Victoria, we've heard you. We know there's
We know, please go and make all the money there. But it's not personally for me. I know there's money. It's true. It's true. There is a lot of money.
so So there
Please,
is money
whatever
there.
works for
I know
you.
so many people who say LinkedIn is not paying money and
True.
everything, but the good thing is that people are really cashing out on
Yes.
LinkedIn. It
It's
just
not paying
depends
money
on how you,
directly, but it is paying
it's not paying
money.
money
Yes.
directly.
It's not paying
So
money
it
directly,
depends on
but yeah.
how you position yourself. So people are, you can see people in Nigeria that are earning in dollars or in pounds.
Yeah. True.
So that's just the most important thing. I'm not seeing any question here, so I just want to appreciate everyone. We are going to wrap it up, but then I see a lot of other contributions in the comment section, and just to put that up to our screen. So I'm going to be going through our comment section. Okay, so okay, let me pronounce the name I know there. Sunday is saying, don't mind the metrics. Yeah, don't mind the metrics. Keep going, keep going. And praise is saying, maintain your voice is very important. That uniqueness, you don't want to trade it for anything. You don't want to be sounding like somebody tomorrow, another person. We want to know who is who. So when we see your post, we know like, oh, this is this person. So that's very important for us. um okay, Ijoma was saying, when we give value, value comes back to us. Absolutely sure, I can agree with you. um okay, Victoria is saying here that own your voice and amplify it. Show working. Yes, don't AI everything, don't fake it, be real. Of course, you need to be authentic when you are showing up on most of this platform. The people wants to know you for who you are. Ijoma is saying, value without communication skills equals zero. So you want to be able to communicate your value in such a way that people can actually stand up for what you are saying. They can believe you. They can say, oh, this is true about what you are saying. Okay, I think that's just most of the contribution I've seen so far on the comments section. I'm not sure I missed anything, but if peradventure I did, please kindly bear with me. Okay, this is from someone I know. Thank you so much for this wonderful comment. Thank you so much. Okay, so we've come to the end of our session. But Miss Latifa, before I let you go, what's that one final piece of advice that you want to leave with most of our agri professionals, our young students, undergrads that are just trying to navigate the world of agriculture? Just a general advice on how to go about their professional development now.
Okay, so remember what I said earlier when I said if you're in the agriculture space, what you have is gold. I used to tell people I wish I studied agriculture, even though I now have a master's in agribusiness management. I just wish I studied agriculture in university. But moving on from that, all you have is gold. And remember that the world is your oyster. Okay, and the world is waiting for you. You have so much value to give, but nobody, like I always tell people, I'm not a witch that I know all the value that you have in your mind. I don't know. I'll never know unless you open your mouth to communicate it to me. Okay, so remember, your value even pans beyond your geographical location. You can gain so much value beyond where you are. And let me also give another story, two stories actually, just from sharing. I don't even know as much as you guys, that's the truth. So imagine I knew up to what you people know. Just from sharing my little stories on LinkedIn, I've gotten two opportunities: one to facilitate a training in Europe, and the other to contribute to a UK magazine, just from sharing my experience. One thing I told Omobolani that I was trying to achieve with this session was to share my stories, was to make people see themselves in me, and to know that for me to do it, if I can do it, then so can you. Agriculture is such a gold mine, and it's not something that is localized to where we are or where you are. It is a good way. You need to tap into that opportunity in the global space. Okay, you just never know. You just never know. You when you start getting those opportunities, you remember the things that.
Oh, sorry, I know we missed that there, but I believe she is going to be here shortly.
Yeah, sorry about that, my network. But yes, I hope you understand everything I've said so far. what you have is gold. Your voice, amplify your voice, because there's somebody on the other side of fear that is waiting to hand you an opportunity, but you have to let them know that you are worthy of such opportunity. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much for the time. We've been in this session for 1 hour and almost 20 minutes. Thank you so much. And I believe every one of you that have joined us this evening, you've been able to learn at least one. I know it's a lot, but at least one key lesson that can help you in building your visibility and connecting with the right people in your how do I call it, in your field of expertise. So this brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you, Miss Latifa, for your time, for your attention. I really appreciate. I know you're a busy person, and it took a lot of back and forth to help me drag
Yeah.
her to this session today. So thank you for coming up on board to share your wealth of experience on this particular topic we discussed today. And I'm sure we are going to have a lot of beautiful testimonials from this session. Okay, so this is AgriScholars Webinar Series, and we have it on a monthly basis. So we are going to be having another one next month. So you can just watch out for the updates on my LinkedIn space, and I'm also going to post it on YouTube as well. So, and one more thing, if you are joining on YouTube there, please kindly click the subscribe button for more updates. So you can also share our channel with aspiring scholars or even agricultural students that you know would benefit from conversations like this. So, okay, on behalf of AgriScholars Mentoring Hub, I want to appreciate our speakers, and I want to appreciate every one of you that you've taken your time to actually join us for today's session. And please, I want you to, if you have the chance to come back to revisit what we've discussed today, I believe it's going to help you, it's going to shape your career journey. So take more time. If you need help, if you need guidance or clarity, you can always reach out to me. You can reach out to Miss Latifa. I know she's a busy person, but then if there's something we are unable to clear out from this period of time, you can always reach out to us and we'll be more than willing to answer your question. So thank you so much, everyone. And on this note, we'll call it a wrap and we'll say enjoy your evening and enjoy your weekend as well. So goodbye, everyone. See you another time. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.